Hey, what's going on, guys? Gonna give it a few minutes, let everyone get in here, and then we will get started. How is everyone doing today? How can you hear me? GM, Samyak, Saeed. Some good people in here. What's going on? Foct merged. Riadel, yes. Awesome, guys. Glad you guys can hear me. Let's go ahead and bring that clock up here as well. Get a little 2-minute countdown going. Let everyone get in here. There we go. All right, what's going on? Marco, Hootie, Dr. Grind, Brian, Jude, Lahel, Iker, Abhishek. A lot of good people in here, guys. A lot of good people in here. Hey, Abhishek, good to see you as well. Happy Saturday, Brian. Happy Saturday to everyone. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Again, the market had a nice little relief pump, just a small one, nothing crazy. But the fact that we are at least starting to form a bottom is a good sign. I think that the previous week or two, wrecked a lot of people, especially with the volatility after the big drop on the 10th. And so now we're starting to form that bottom, especially ahead of rate cuts. We'll talk about that as well. But this video is going to be on how you guys can analyze macro and on-chain data in crypto. So it's going to be a great video. So make sure you stay tuned. You're going to learn a lot here. You're going to learn how I analyze a lot of the macro data as well as, combine that with on-chain data to actually form a valid thesis and have that calculated conviction that most people need to have. So it's going to be a great one, guys. So definitely stay tuned for that. Got about a minute, 45 seconds left, and then we will get started. What's going on? Troll, Tex, Marlon, Mohammed, Chris. A lot of good people. Hey, Marlon, no problem. Glad you are learning a lot. I try to provide as much good content as I can. So appreciate that, guys. Also, if you guys haven't liked the stream, much appreciated if you could. It's going to help spread Gym Hunters to the masses. And of course, if you haven't joined the free Telegram group, in the description, paid group is below that, 1 ETH for a year. Then also you have the BloFin and the Photon referral links to use those exchanges and bots. Hey, what's going on? Peak Profits, good night to you. Justice says, think ETH hits all-time high by November. It's still a possibility. I mean, it seems far-fetched right now. By November, I would say by November 5th. Probably it hits all-time highs. So, I would say that. But, with that, guys, let's go ahead and get started. So, like I said, there's going to be how to analyze macro and on-chain data in crypto. We're going to go over a lot of good stuff, so stay tuned. The goal is going to be to learn to interpret key data that drives crypto markets. Focus is going to be on macro trends, on-chain metrics, and market behavior. And then the skill level, we're going to take you guys from beginner to advanced. But even if you are advanced already, you guys are going to still learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot of good resources you can use and different ways to look at the market. So stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Now, why macro and on-chain analysis matter? So macro data influences liquidity, sentiment, and capital flow. Now, I'm sure you guys know this, but when you see the macro data, such as interest rate cuts, I mean, that's a big one. Everyone knows the FOMC meetings are big. Everyone's talking about them. But why did they become so big, right? Why did people start focusing on this macro data the past few years and it becomes so prevalent on the timeline? Because I know myself, back in 2017 and 2018, I wasn't looking at interest rate cuts. I was just looking at coins pumping, right? Crypto was the new hot toy, and everyone wanted to make money with it. No one was focused on the macro. But then, as you started to get more institutions and more governments involved in cryptocurrency, then started to become the shift to say, hey, these people have a lot of money and they're controlling a lot of the rules and regulations in the market. Maybe we need to pay attention to the economic calendar or upcoming events or rate cuts. And maybe Bitcoin, while yes, it does have a 4-year cycle, what is that 4-year cycle dictated on? It's dictated on the global liquidity cycle, on monetary policy, on these various metrics that maybe we were unaware of when we first started in crypto. You know what I mean? And so that's why macro data is so important, guys. It's going to determine how much money is flowing into the market, how much money is flowing out of the market. I mean, there's all kinds of things that it measures. So make sure you guys are looking at that data. And then on-chain data is going to reflect that real-time investor behavior. So you have the macro side, right? Like interest rate cuts are October 29th. Okay, that's the macro side. Now, what's the on-chain data saying? What are smart wallets doing? Are they long? Are they short? Are they putting money on exchanges or taking money off exchanges? Are they investing in certain tokens? I mean, there's all kinds of different things that you can analyze. And even, remember that hyperliquid whale that shorted 30 minutes prior to Trump announcing his tariff, having his tariff announcement, and the whale made $190 million? I mean, that's on-chain data flow right there. If you were looking at that and you were monitoring that hyperliquid whale, you'd be ready for that short, right? And so I think that sometimes we ignore the data and we focus on our emotions when we should be focusing on the data and ignoring emotions. You see what I mean? Because guys, if you just focus on your emotions, you will lose everything. I promise you that. You will blow up your account. I've done it multiple times and it's taken me time to learn, just like everyone here has done it as well, I'm sure. But the moment you can start having calculated conviction and focusing on the on-chain data and the macro data, the sooner you can actually start to become profitable and have more accurate either signals or more accurate metrics that you can identify and actually front run the market that much quicker. And then third, together, they'll give a complete market picture beyond just charts. And so while technical analysis is good, if you can combine macro and on-chain analysis as well, guys, you're going to be a powerhouse. And you're going to be able to determine, okay, we should be close to a bottom now, or we should be close to a top. These metrics are getting a little overheated. And combining that with like the RSI, the stock RSI, your support resistance levels, which is what I do, then you can start to become more accurate and say, wow, this guy predicts these moves fairly good. And again, I don't know everything, but I'm looking at my various groups. I'm looking at upcoming events. I'm looking at technical analysis. I'm looking at on-chain data. I'm taking all this into account to form a proper calculated thesis, because at the end of the day, crypto is just about probabilities. Trading is about probabilities. We're never going to be 100% right. But if you're going to be 65, 70% right, that's very good, right? Even the top traders, they're not more than 75% right. And so you don't have to be right all the time, guys, but when you are betting, you got to bet big, and when you lose, you got to cut your losses quick. Okay, so make sure that you have that delineation. Next, core macro drivers. So you have interest rates, the Fed, ECB, etc. That they're going to affect your liquidity and your risk appetite. Meaning, okay, if the Fed's going to cut interest rates, well, does that mean now we're getting closer to quantitative tightening ending? Does that mean quantitative easing is going to start? It's going to be more money. You know, the money printer is going to turn on. It's going to be more stimulus. It's going to be more capital inflow. Because if rate cuts happen, or the second rate cuts, I should say, October 29th, that means loans are going to be cheaper. Mortgages are going to be cheaper. People are going to have more discretionary income in their pockets. People are going to feel like they can go more risk on in the market. Therefore, the prices of stocks and crypto are going to rise, okay? You just got to look at that correlation of what's happening monetarily wise and with interest rates, because that's going to affect how much capital flow is coming into or out of the market. You also have inflation data, CPI, PCE, signals monetary tightening or easing, okay? That's going to also determine how quickly the Fed is going to end quantitative tightening or start quantitative easing. And so making sure that you're keeping an eye on inflation and not just interest rate cuts is going to help determine, okay, what's going to happen in the foreseeable future. Because here's the thing, guys. A lot of people will focus on Jerome Powell and his rate cuts, but they won't focus on his outlook. Guys, his outlook is arguably more important than the rate cut itself. If he has a dovish outlook, basically meaning he's going to cut more have more rate cuts in the future, versus a hawkish outlook where he's going to have maybe just one more rate cut in the future, I mean, that's going to matter to the market, because that's going to determine, okay, are we going to go full risk on here, or are we just going to have this little mini pump from the rate cuts and then we're probably going to go risk off afterwards? You see what I mean? Because if the Fed is going to continue to cut rates and have multiple cuts this year, then that's going to signal, okay, we're risk on again. Let's go. Liquidity's coming back to the market, right? It's going to be more stimulus. Quantitative tightening is going to end, etc. Like, there's all kinds of second and third order effects that are going to happen if Jerome Powell cuts those rates and he has a dovish outlook as well. So, next, let's go on the dollar, DXY. Inverse correlation to Bitcoin's strength, guys. So, the strength of the dollar. If the dollar's going up, Bitcoin's going down, and vice versa. These aren't always inversely correlated, but I'd say about 90% of the time, it's pretty inversely correlated. So how can you use this to your advantage? Well, you can chart it. Go to TradingView, type in DXY, and then chart it. Standard support resistance levels, standard trend lines, etc. Because, guys, there's institutions, billion-dollar institutions, trillion-dollar institutions that are charting these metrics, and they're trading based off that. So they're using high-frequency trading algorithms. They're using various other metrics. And so if you can piggyback off of that. And if you can jump on the coattails of that and be able to profit, then why wouldn't you? So making sure you're looking at other charts so you can draw your SR lines on or trend lines on, and that can also help predict where price is going. Then fourth, bond yields. So you have the 10-year and the 2-year. These are going to track your risk on versus risk off capital flow. Are these yields increasing? Are they trying to get people to invest in these yields because there's lack of trust in the central bank like there is right now? Because guys, people aren't really investing in bonds that much. People are looking at investing in gold. They're even investing in stocks and crypto still over bonds, right? And so you have to use that as a metric to determine, okay, where is sentiment? Where are, is people's trust? And how overheated are we in the market? How high are these yields? Okay, now let's look at the past. Let's look at FRED, which is economic data, metric that we'll talk about as well. Okay, how high were 10-year and 2-year yields in the past during the '08 crash? And then looking at that data. Guys, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes, as Luke always says. So you got to be able to look at the past and see what happened and just compare that with the current macro environment. And then fifth, equities. So you could also lump crypto into this, but this is going to reflect global investor confidence. So if you have the Mag 7, like the tech stocks, like Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Tesla, all of those, right? If they've continued to rise, that tells you, okay, global investor confidence is high. People are bullish on the future. People are bullish on these companies continuing to prosper and continuing to profit. That's why they're backing these companies at these high prices, okay? So this can help you as well. Now, it can also help you in determining blow-off tops, euphoria in the market. Wow, this Nvidia's gone up over 1,000% over the past year. Yeah, it's overheated. Oh, Tesla's gone up over 1,000% the past year. Yeah, it's overheated, right? But again, you have to look at the other factors as well. You can't just say something's overheated because the price has risen a lot. You have to look at other metrics. You have to look at where we're at in the cycle, where liquidity is at, where interest rate cuts are at, where inflation's at. Like everything, guys, you have to look at it as a full picture, not just one. And we'll talk about that as well, just only using, the trap that people fall into with using just one indicator. So making sure you're looking at everything, and that's going to determine if we still have some room to go or if we have a pullback. Now, just looking at the comments real quick. What's going on, guys? Jude AB, good to hear. Riadul says, bought Astra at 134. Should I hold or sell? What do you think? Astra, I'm not sure if Astra, but Aster, it's below 119, it's bearish. So if we can get above 119 on the daily, close above, then it's bullish. AB says, is 50 basis point rate cut a possibility on the 29th? Yes, AB. 50 basis point rate cut is a possibility. Now, the big thing with that is, when is the government shutdown going to end? Because then we're going to have those economic numbers come out, and then that's going to help determine, with a better likelihood, if the 50 basis point rate cut is going to happen. Mr. Robinson, good to see you. And yes, my group is going well. Appreciate that as always. I'm making sure to stay on top of it and provide people with the best data in there as well. So thank you so much. Samadkado says, what do you think about memes? I think memes could have their run in the near future. I think that the risk curve is going to probably go risk on in the near future once rate cuts happen and these tariffs and government shutdown, everything starts coming to an end. So that's something as well I'm keeping an eye on. Leonardo says, do you believe that smart money concept is enough to change my life at a trade? Smart money concept is a good start, but it's not going to change your life overnight. You need to be able to incorporate that with macro and on-chain analysis. And so Tao says, bullish. Yeah, Tao's pretty good. Shubal Invest says, question, how long have you been trading for? 8+ years, Shubal. And actually, just I might as well, while we're here, if you guys aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, definitely make sure you guys do so, because I give you guys as much content as I can, and I also provide a lot of good content on my X account. So make sure you're checking pin message, you're checking everything on there, and you will get a lot of good information. Also, a lot of quotes. I give you guys a lot of motivational quotes as well. But yeah, I've been trading for over 8 years, since May of 2017. Yeah. Fox says, where can you see Pengu price by the end of the year? Oh, that's a good question. Maybe 5-6 cents. Eric says, performing well right now. The Traveler says, how do you recommend learning about crypto for a newbie? And I'll go over that as well, but just learning the basics of technical analysis. So typing in technical analysis basics on YouTube, going over that. I also talk about that in the third video on the Jim Hunter's YouTube channel. You can go to that, go to the live tab and scroll down to the bottom. Third video says technical analysis basics, and you can actually go over that. Michael says, DJG has 2.3 billion Bitcoin to have coins, tokens, and other digital assets that own 5 ETFs and other companies. Exactly. DJT is earning a lot, the Donald Trump company. Let's see, what Windows laptop are you using? I'm using the Asus ROG Strix. I want to say, hold on, let me actually tell you. Let me just show you the, let's see, real quick. If I can look at properties, if I can find the exact I want to find the exact computer that I'm using so that you guys can actually see that. But yeah, I'm using a Asus ROG Strix. So I'll try to find the exact one, but it has, I believe, 32 or I think 64 gigs of RAM. It has a RTX 3070 in it. It has a good AMD CPU, a Ryzen 9 series or 5000 series CPU. So it's a great one. So S4 says, ACD for my dorm in another city. I hope the run is not over yet. I have faith in God and I'm bullish until it's over. Yes, same here, S4. I hope it's not over. Again, if we get below 100K, it's probably going to be over. So just keep an eye on that. And I'll go over more questions in a minute, guys, but just want to answer a few. Now, macro tools and resources. So you have the Federal Reserve economic data. That's another big one, and that's going to determine your economic calendar and also just the data like interest rates, like treasury yields, etc. They have a lot of accurate data, so make sure wherever you're getting your data from, it is accurate. TradingView, overlay DXY, BTC, and SPX for correlation. So making sure that, again, I use TradingView a lot, and a good thing to do is, again, overlaying, look at the correlation between the dollar, between Bitcoin, and between the S&P, having them all on one chart. I know people also overlay copper and gold, which here's some alpha for you guys. Copper and gold, whenever it bottoms out, it marks the bottom of Bitcoin. And so chart COPPER/XAU on TradingView. And then whenever that bottoms out, you should see a bottom in Bitcoin. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. Copper XAU. Type this in TradingView for a chart. So there you go. And that's going to determine when copper bottoms, BTC bottoms. So yeah, copper against gold. When copper bottoms, BTC bottoms. It's pretty funny seeing the correlation there. Now, also, Bloomberg, Reuters, Investing.com. These are going to be your real-time macro calendars. Make sure you guys are looking at the upcoming macro events because that's going to determine how many, what price does. Sometimes people will front-run these events, and especially there's a lot of volatility as these events get near, so it always does help whenever you can stay one step ahead. And then macro dashboards like the Kobayashi Letter, Global Macro Pro. These are ones I don't really use as much, but they are tools that you can use. Next, key on-chain metrics. So you have active addresses, network activity, guys. What are those addresses doing? Like that Hyperliquid Whale wallet. They opened that wallet just a couple hours prior as a new wallet. And then they shorted, X amount right before Trump's announcement. So being able to track this, guys, you can actually get that inside info, basically, right? And so that's going to help you determine where big money is flowing. And Mr. Robinson, I will let you know. I will let you know if I need help in the group. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Yeah. I may send you a DM on that. Exchange, ETF flows, TVL. So inflows versus outflows. This is important too, guys, because as you know, I'm always looking at ETF flows. If we get near $1 billion, it's going to mark the local top. If we get near $1 billion of outflows, it's going to mark the local bottom for Bitcoin or Ethereum. And then also TVL. So looking at DeFi Llama. Is money flowing on-chain or off-chain? Another good metric to watch. Liquidation metrics. So tracking those active positions. And so on CoinGlass, for example, did we get over $1 billion in liquidations in the past 24 hours? Okay, that marks usually it marks a local bottom. Or the liquidation heat map. Okay, where is that liquidity centered at? There's a lot of opportunity there. The MVRV ratio is going to be over undervaluation signal. Is it low? Is things undervalued or is it high, right? It's going to help determine Bitcoin's over undervalue. Whale wallet activity, accumulation or distribution. Are whales buying certain coins? Are they selling certain coins? Are they investing money on exchanges or are they to sell, or are they taking money off exchanges, taking Bitcoin off exchanges to hold? And then dormancy coin age. Old coins moving equals a market shift. So remember that there's always people tracking those old dormant wallets. If those wallets are moving large amounts of Bitcoin, why are they doing that? Are they doing that to swap for another coin? Or are they doing that to sell? That's why it also helps to track that. On-chain tools. Various tools here, guys. Glassnode. It's going to be a professional on-chain suite. Also, you have Dune Analytics. I didn't put that here, but that's another good one. Dune Analytics. CryptoQuant, good for exchange flows and miner data. CoinGlass, on-chain liquidation and position metrics. DeFi Llama, TVL tracking. CoinMarketCap, the Fear and Greed Sentiment Index. A lot of things I look at. Nansen, your smart money tracking. So Nansen AI, I know Smart Money Crypto uses that. Arkham and Sentiment. It's going to be token and social metrics. This is important too, guys, because as you know, Arkham makes the correlation between a wallet address and a social profile. So if they are tracking some popular profile and that profile does something like take a big short position, maybe they can track Barron Trump's wallet and it tracks, hey, he's taking a big short position. Well, at that point, you need to be careful because maybe Trump's about to make another tariff announcement or something. You know what I mean? And so track those wallets, guys, because then you will be able to stay one step ahead of the market. Now, combining macro and on-chain data. So using macro trends to gauge liquidity and sentiments. Like I said, interest rate cuts, inflation data, FOMC meetings. Making sure you're tracking those. Use on-chain metrics to confirm capital movements. Like we mentioned before, where's that whale wallet activity going? Looking at those wallet data, looking at those liquidation metrics, etc. So example, the Fed cuts interest rates, DXY drops, and then Bitcoin accumulation spikes. Okay, being able to make that correlation helps to keep you one step ahead. The best traders will align the macro direction plus the on-chain confirmation. While using one is good, using both is even better, guys. And that's what it's all about, is having confluence. You don't have to have everything right, but having confluence is going to help you much more than just looking at one thing, okay? So making sure you guys are focused on all of the data, not just one or two data points. So for example, a case study here with the Bitcoin rally in 2023. Remember near October of 2023, the Fed paused rate hikes. That means liquidity returned because remember, the Bitcoin cycle is based on global liquidity and monetary policy. So if the Fed paused rate hikes, that means, okay, now they're potentially looking to cut interest rates in the near future. So liquidity returned. Then you had the DXY decline. Remember, DXY is inversely correlated with Bitcoin. Capital rotated to risk assets. Then you had on-chain, rising exchange outflows, whale accumulation, okay? People are looking to buy on-chain. The result was Bitcoin went from 20 to 31K in 3 months, guys, over a 50% move. And so that's why you have to pay attention to monetary policy and the global liquidity, because then you can help forecast these moves much easier and you can be able to stay one step ahead when all of these different metrics are coming into play. Now, common mistakes. So ignoring macro catalysts, okay? You have CPI or the FOMC. Ignoring these guys is a big mistake, I'm telling you. If you ignore these catalysts, guys, it's going to be bad because you're going to wonder, oh, why did the market drop or why did the market pump? You got to be able to look at these, look at tariffs, look at how everything is correlated on a macro front. And if you're using on-chain metrics alone, another common mistake. Like I said, you have to be able to use everything in confluence with one another. Misreading whale wallet data. Guys, if you can't read Etherscan or SoulScan, then screenshot and paste it into ChatGPT and ask it what's going on. Okay, another way to stay ahead. And then mixing in spot and derivative signals. So spot trading is going to be long-term, like 3 to 6 months, whereas derivative signals could be short-term, right? The long-short ratios, what people are doing in the short term. And so these are usually based off events and news-driven and also on-chain driven. But at the same time, you shouldn't mix these two signals. Like if you're bullish long-term and holding spot, then fine, stay long-term. Don't get caught up in the noise of derivatives and short-term news spikes. So something to keep in mind. Next, practical workflow. So for example, this is just an example. It doesn't encompass everything, but for example, you're checking the macro calendar, like CPI, FOMC, jobs report. Then you're watching the DXY, the 10-year yield, and the SPX correlation, how the market's reacting. Then you're analyzing exchange flows. Okay, are exchanges coming, money coming on-chain or off-chain? Then you're comparing accumulation zones with macro shifts. Okay, this token has been in an accumulation range for the past couple weeks. Okay, rate cuts are coming October 29th. I think people are getting ready for a pump. Okay, I think I'm going to start investing now. And then build bias. Are you risk on or risk off? Well, the fact that interest rate cuts are coming, the fact that Trump was talking about a stimulus, the fact that he's negotiating with China on tariffs, the fact the government shutdown is probably going to end soon. Okay, I think I'm going to go risk on now. You see what I mean? All of that analysis needs to happen, guys. It doesn't need to happen right away, but you need to build up that conviction because, like I said, trading is based on probabilities. So being able to accurately predict what the market's going to do based off the on-chain data, the macro data, the technical data, all of that. And then if majority agree with your bias, risk on, risk off, then you'll take that trade whether it's long, short, buy, sell. So, in summary, we talked about macro, meaning capital flow backdrop. Bitcoin's based off monetary policy and global liquidity index. So, the macro view is going to determine where that capital is flowing, okay? Looking at the rate cuts, looking at the tariffs, looking at inflation, looking at the outlook for some of these meetings, CPI data, PCE data. I mean, there's all kinds of data you can look at that's going to help determine where the economy is going and if rate cuts are going to happen, and then if QT is going to end, QE is going to start, stimulus is going to start, money printer is going to turn on, etc. On-chain equals the investor footprint. So guys, look at what the on-chain data is saying. The whale wallets are saying. Look at the long-short ratios. Looking at the liquidation data. Looking at the on-chain inflows, outflows, ETF inflows, outflows. Like guys, there's all kinds of data you need to be looking at to develop a big picture of what's going on in this market. Because if you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail. And so looking at where the money's flowing, where attention goes, money flows, right? And that could help determine everything else. Together, these will provide you a high probability trend detection. So you will be able to determine, okay, if we're about to enter a bullish trend or potentially could enter a bearish trend because there's negative news or positive news, etc. So you have to be able to forecast what's going to happen based off of these probabilities, based off of this data. It's all a game of game theory, guys. Game theory is so prevalent in crypto. People front-run events all the time. The market's getting more efficient now, meaning people are front-running earlier and earlier. So now instead of buy the rumor, sell the news, it could be buy the rumor and sell a couple days before the news, right? That's what I mean by people front-running and getting more efficient. So the game's only getting harder, so you got to be able to look at the right data, and you got to be able to have, be in the right groups so you are being prepared for these moves. So your goal is to anticipate these moves, not to react, guys. You got to be able to be proactive, not reactive, because if you're reactive, you're going to be exit liquidity. You're going to buy when everyone else is selling, and then a few days later, the market's going to drop, and you're going to wonder why you lost money. Guys, you got to be proactive. You got to buy whenever there's fear in the market. Remember, buy when others are fearful, sell when they're greedy. Just like Warren Buffett always says, look at the fear and greed index from CoinMarketCap. If it's near 28, near 20, extreme fear, yes, start buying. If it's near extreme greed, near above that 75, 80 level, start selling, right? Literally take emotions out of the equation and focus strictly on data, and you will be successful, I promise you. So, I know that was a lot, guys, but I do think that this was one of my better streams. I think I was able to provide you guys a lot of good value. I was very clear and articulate in my communication, and so let me know if you did gain some value from this. Drop a fire emoji if you liked this stream, you liked this analysis where I went over macro and on-chain, not just technical, because I do think that people really need to understand both facets of trading, not just one side, if they do want to be profitable. So again, guys, fire emojis in the chat if you guys enjoyed this. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and answer a few questions. Let me go ahead and pop out the chat here, and then I will put it on screen so you guys can see which questions I am going over here. So let's see what everyone's saying. Okay, we stopped right about okay, cool. So he says, great session. I appreciate that. 3 coins to keep an eye on. I mean, honestly, Ethereum, Solana, and probably Hyperliquid or BNB. Probably those 3. Saeed says, what when his laptop using? Yep, the ROG Strix. And let me see, Saeed, if I can actually find it. Give me 1 second, okay? Give me 1 second because I'm going to look at my Amazon account and see if I can... I still need to sign in, actually. Sign me out. But let me see if I can find an ROE Strix laptop and see if I can find the exact one that I'm in, or a good one that you guys... Let me see if maybe I bought one in the past. Yeah, but Asus ROG Strix is a great laptop. Like, honestly, you can find a lot of good deals on it. So I would say, yeah, just look for that. It's STRIX. So... ROG Strix laptop. Just look at that. Look for 64 gigs of data, or 64 gigs of RAM, and then, good CPU, good GPU. Okay, that's what you're gonna look at least 64 gigs of RAM for a laptop if you're looking for one. All right, and then also, guys, again, if you aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, definitely make sure to do so. I try to give you guys the best content I can. Let's see, EF 2009 says, main reason why market is dumping, really it's just the uncertainty, honestly, because there's a trade war going on between China and the United States where they're both threatening 100% tariffs on each other. Trump says that's going to start November 1st. He's trying to have a negotiation with President Xi, and so hopefully we see a resolution, but as well as the government shutdown, that's negative because the U.S. government's been shut down since October 1st, and so that's creating some downward pressure in the economy, in the markets. And then also you have other uncertainties with, there's the Russia-Ukraine war, some uncertainty with there. And so it's just, again, more uncertainty in the market. That's when you have the drop. Hubert says, do you think we're in a bear market? Not yet, but I am still keeping the option open. If Bitcoin falls below 100K and stays there for a few days, we're probably in a bear market. So, hey, no problem. Trevor, glad you're enjoying my time. Glad you're enjoying this information. Arnaud says, do you also trade stocks and commodities? Not as much as I should, honestly. And I regret that. I should have been more in stocks this time around. I didn't do it as much. I'm still going to invest in some stocks like Quantum, and others. But, yeah, definitely I think it's good to be in silver right now and a few others. Heart to Frame, just linked my Twitter handle there at the CryptoData. So I can also show you guys real quick so you can see. This is my X account. For anyone that is curious, there you go, at the CryptoData. So, cool. Okay, let's see what else people have. As far as says, the same laptop as me, CD. Mine's actually Asus Tough Gaming. We both know we won't game on these beasts, though. Exactly. I use it for multitasking, Eswar. I do no gaming on my laptop, funny enough. Even though it has a lot of RAM, CPU, GPU, etc. Barry says, I'm in a long position on ETH. Where do you think is a good TP? I think 3980 is a good TP, just below 4,000, and then 4260 is a good one as well. Borjon says, do you see a bounce from ETH from here? I am tentatively bullish on ETH, honestly, because the ETH staking ETF's coming up October 30th for the final deadline for BlackRock, and their approval rate is 576 to 1, so they usually get approved for whatever they're applying for, and so I think that we're going to have a front run on ETH, especially with interest rate cuts a day prior. Mr. Robinson, oh yeah, talking about donating extra help with the group. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know, Mr. Robinson. Definitely let you know. I appreciate that. Sebastian, what alts are you looking at for the rest of Q4? That's a great question. So, alts for Q4, I would look at, Ethereum, a big one. Honestly, probably the majors. But yeah, if Ethereum pumps, probably Athena, ENA. That could be a good one that could do well. I'm in that one. And then, the big question is Aster going to pump again? Guys, it's just, we had hype for that token, and now the hype's dying. So that's all I have to say about Aster is, yeah, they really messed that one up. But I would say just the standard ones, Ethereum, Solana, Hyperliquid, maybe BNB if they want to try to run it back. But yeah, probably those, and then Athena, and trying to think if there's any other, maybe Pengu. Maybe Pengu for Q4. I know Luca Nets was bullish on that, so it could be one to keep an eye on. Okay. Also, guys, if you haven't liked the stream, please like it. We got 81 viewers, only 37 likes. It'd be awesome if we get some more likes on the stream, guys. Appreciate it. Amar says, ETF flows, what's the day range? 1 day, 3-day, weekly. So ETF flows, I just look at daily flows. So if you go to Farsight is a great... yeah, it's a great website to look at for ETF flows. So I'll show you guys. Here you go. Okay, so Amar, let me... There you go, for ETF flows. That's a great one. All right. As far as says, Glassnode is premium, right? And also way more expensive than other tools. I feel like Velo provides more alpha and info. Velo is a good one too, S4. Thanks for that. Thank you for that. Amar for the 1 billion flow mark. Oh yeah, it's just daily, Amar, for the 1 billion flow mark. Yeah, just daily for the ETF inflows or outflows. And so, let's see. Sensei. Michael Anthony was saying that on the DJT that I was doing research and looking at the SEC filing and news that has $2 billion more cash, that highs was $54.68, that I feel undervalued company that President Trump hasn't sold his share. Yeah, the DJT stock is another good one, Michael, to keep an eye on, 100%. What do you think about Binance Exchange? Honestly, they're very manipulative, guys. Binance is very manipulative. I know that you saw some posts from Luke as well saying the same thing. They are, guys. They're very extractionary. You've seen coins on that exchange literally go to 0 during the October 10th flush. And so, guys, it's just, I would be careful if you're trading on Binance from now on. Coinbase tends to be good. Kraken tends to be good. Bybit tends to be good. But yeah, Binance, BloFin tends to be good. But yeah, Binance tends to be very more manipulative. Hey, Sprockos, much love as well. EF 2009 thoughts on Sol? Still bullish on Sol. 175 is a good support level, and then 157 after that. Can we enter bear run? So the bear market is still very possible, guys. The 4-year cycle, if we're talking about 4-year cycle, it would literally be this month that we're topping out. Like, that would literally be the 4-year cycle. And so if that's going to happen, we'll have to see. But what's going on? Brian says, facts. A lot of fire emojis, guys. I really do appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Literally, people getting value from this. I really do appreciate this, guys. Like I said, I think this is one of my better streams. I'm able to speak very clearly and concisely. and be able to share my ideas with you, exactly how I perceive them and how I analyze them via macro and on-chain data. So glad you guys are getting value from this. Marco says, what do you think about the fear on the BTC? Good opportunity to buy. I think so. I think we're good. We're getting close to DCA levels. I think that as long as 104K holds, we're good. I do have limit orders between 95 to 99K that may or may not get hit unless, if these tariffs go off and these tariffs are implemented and we start seeing some more fear in the market, yes, we're going to hit 95 to 99K. But if not, 104 could be the lowest. Amar says, which whale do you suggest tracking movement? Amazing stream. Hey, thank you, Amar. So the whale, I would look at the hyperliquid whale. And if you haven't seen the hyperliquid whale, he is very, very good. So I would definitely check out him. I would look, I need to check his wallet actually. I have it in my group. I need to double check. But yeah, that whale is good. And then there's probably a few others. But for now, that hyperliquid insider that shorted the, before the Trump tariff announcement, he's a good one to follow. Hack says, thanks CD. What are your expectations for Bitcoin in the upcoming news? I'm still tentatively bullish. Let's see. Game 5 says your X. Yes. My X account is CryptoData, where I linked before. Thank you for the stream, brother. Rami. I appreciate you, Rami. Let's see. Heart of Fram. Yep. So that's here. I'll link it again just so you guys know. But yes, my X account. There you go. So there's my X account. So if you guys haven't followed, always much appreciated, guys. Let's see. Amari says, why do you say you wish you traded stocks more this time around? Just because how much they went up. So crypto, everyone's been chopped up in crypto. But if you look at stocks, they've been up only. You see NVIDIA, Tesla, like all of these different stocks, guys, they've just been on a tear. Quantum stocks, robotics, like literally 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x returns. Whereas crypto, it's just been chopping people up. Like you look at altcoins, guys, altcoins are maybe up 20% from the October 2023 lows. You know what I mean? Like 20, 30, maybe. But guys, people have been getting chopped up. There's not a hodl mentality anymore. And so I think a lot of that attention went over to stocks. And so that's the only reason I say I wish I would have traded stocks more. The funny thing is, I thought stocks were going to be slower. I thought crypto was going to accelerate. And literally it was the opposite. Stocks accelerated and crypto slowed down. Like, yes, there was opportunity, of course, with the Trump token, other tokens, but there's just been a lot of manipulation in crypto. And it's definitely been on hard mode versus last cycle. Ideal says Zig is holding good in all these dips. Awesome. Jude, why do you think XRP has levels right now? I think at 212 is going to be a good level to buy. That's what I would say for XRP. Samad, are the memes done? They aren't done, but guys, don't hold anything for a long time anymore. Like, we're in the rotation meta. Get in, get out, get your profits, and get out. Because people are not holding anymore. There's such a high dilution of capital ever since we had all these meme platforms like Pump Fund, 4.meme, everything else launching where anyone could launch a meme coin in 2 seconds. Now you have literally thousands of coins being launched every day. The dilution of capital is crazy. Chujak says, do you think ICT is good? I think ICT isn't bad for learning the basics of trading. What do you think of the BitTune exchange? So I've received a lot of promotion offers from that. I haven't used it per se, but yeah, so I can't even provide a valid opinion on that, to be honest with you guys. Marco, thanks a lot. Like the stream, guys. Yes, please like the stream. Really appreciate it. Rami, to answer your question real quick, too, I do like the BloFin exchange. I met the owners. I met the people there. They're very nice guys. Fox says, do you think we can hit one more all-time high this year? I think it's possible, but again, it's going to determine when the Fed ends quantitative tightening, when they start quantitative easing. I think Ethereum could definitely hit all-time high. Not sure about Bitcoin. Cashflow Genius. So when are you going to start trading stocks? Very soon. If we do go into a bear market, I'll start trading stocks, 100%. But I do think even right now, I'm going to start trading stocks, quantum stocks, especially in robotics. So stay tuned for that. If you guys, again, haven't checked my X account, haven't checked my pinned message, check all that as well, guys. I am going to start doing a lot more stuff with my group and different things that I'm focusing on there as well. So again, focusing on a lot of valuable data to give you guys. Let's see. Maximilian says, I think Pangu will run still. Yeah, 100%. Samad Kato says, I have a big bag of Brett. Ah, man, that's tough to hear. Brett was one of those things where it's a good token on base, but like I said, attention has shifted away and has been so fragmented among all of these different meme coins that it's very hard to pump them. Very, very hard, guys. So just, again, get in and get out. And see, Abhishek says, I want to say one thing, that never marry your bags. Yeah, guys, never marry your bags. Honestly, like, it's a rotation meta right now. Tyler says tips for taxes. Okay, Tyler, I will give you a good website to use for taxes. Now, please, I caveat this. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a tax specialist. I am none of that. So please take this with a grain of salt. But the tax software that I use is Coinly. So I will link that. I will link that for you. Let's see. Tyler. Okay, Tyler, there you go. That's what I use, Tyler. I use Coinly for taxes. So they're very easy. You can sign into your Coinbase account. You can paste your MetaMask wallet addresses. It can track all your transactions. Again, it's not a foolproof, but it's like a 95% solution. So I would definitely look at that. But always, guys, I would hire a CPA. Hire a CPA, a professional tax person, and that point, you can actually track your taxes much easier. Or they can help you and back you up. Bayo Edit says, thoughts on alts, because I've seen a few that look great for longs from a technical perspective, but they do follow BTC. If Bitcoin's red, the red after alts look nice. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? So a rising tide lifts all boats, and a sinking ship sinks most, can also have the same effect. So here's the thing is, if Bitcoin rises, everything else is going to rise. If Bitcoin falls, everything else is going to fall. But what's the relative strength saying? And those altcoins, are they rising more than Bitcoin when Bitcoin rises? Or are they falling less than Bitcoin when Bitcoin drops? Look at the relative strength on your alts, and if they are strong performers, then they're good alts to invest in. Peak says, Data, is it possible the bull market extends to 2026? Yes, it's still possible, 100%. I still think it's possible that May 2026 is the top. Let's see. Amar says, do you think making cash in crypto and moving cash to stocks for the next cycle? I think that's a good thing. I think you definitely need to realize profits and not even move it into stocks, but just, move it to your bank. But also diversify your assets. So go to commodities like silver. Gold's probably close to topping out, but silver's good. Quantum robotic stocks are good. Real estate is good. What else? Yeah, that's the kind of things I mean diversifying, right? Get into all kinds of different assets. You want to make your wealth work for you. Hey, what's going on, Adrian? Good to see you here. Maximilian says, Mara Holdings stock went crazy. Yeah, that thing, man. There's a lot of stocks that have been crazy this cycle. AB says, what are your expectations for Q1 2026? Okay, let's say May 2026. So Q1, I'll say Bitcoin at least above 150K, Ethereum above probably 6K. That'd be my expectation. Leonardo, is trap make operation in crypto on weekends? Yeah, so weekends are very volatile, guys, so be careful. They can definitely trap you. Super Gringo says, A, great live, thank you. Is there still good calls happening in the premium group given the current market? Are you still getting a good win rate? Yes, there are still calls being made. I'm being more cautious, though. I'm not giving calls every day. I'm waiting for the setups because right now we're in chop solidation mode, meaning people are getting chopped up on longs and shorts. There's still a lot of uncertainty in the market, which is going to make these moves quick. And, you're not going to have like a sustained rally or sustained dump. It's going to be in between. So once we get more clarity, I think as we get closer to the October 29th interest rate cuts, I'm going to start being more aggressive with the longs because I am still bullish on that. And especially with Trump's negotiation with China, that's still an unknown what they're going to do with that because November 1st is the deadline when he's going to slap the tariffs on. So again, if they come to an agreement, the market's going to pump like crazy, guys. And so look for those hyperliquid whales to long right before Trump makes the announcement. I guarantee you it's going to happen again. Tyler says, thank you. No problem, Tyler. Hopefully that helps you out with Coinly. Again, it's a great tax tracking software. I use it. As always, though, go to your tax professional and double check. Ideal, still holding MPC, so I'm not MPC myself, no. Abhishek, hey John, I'm seeing a massive triple top on daily Bitcoin, which is historically bearish. Abhishek, appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Yeah, that could be bearish as well, right? And so we could end up being in a bear market right now, guys. And here's the thing, my bias, I'm unbiased, one way or the other. I'm not bullish, not bearish. I'm neutral. I'm looking at the market. I'm taking the data, and I'm acting on the data accordingly. If we are in a bear market, guys, I'm going to trade accordingly, right? I'm going to look for shorts more instead of longs. I'm going to look to take profits quicker. Like, I'm going to look for short-term balances, not long-term balances. And so you got to adjust your mindset, adjust your trading strategy based on the macro environment, based on what the data and the TA is telling you. So thank you for giving me that. GamerFi CZ, how to get to the premium group. So, yeah, so for the Gym Hunters premium group, that's going to be in the description. 1 ETH for a yearly subscription. If you're talking about mine, then you just check the pin message on my X account, and then I go through all the steps on there as well. Again, both are good. Both are good, guys. So, again, there's a lot of good value that we are providing, and that's why I try to give you guys value here on these live streams as well. Again, even if you're in the free, premium, whatever. Like, there's information you can get anywhere, guys. And so, it just depends what information you want to get. Jude says, do you think altcoins will have a genuine session and go parabolic for main alts? I don't know if they'll have a genuine season, like alt season. I don't know, guys. Like alt season, that happened and everything pumped whenever there was a lot less altcoins. Now there's tons of altcoins, and so we're not going to have the standard alt season you're used to. Maybe the top 50 coins pumping like crazy, top 100, but you're not going to have like the top 1,000 coins pumping like crazy. Not like it used to be, guys. Chudjack says, only good side of living in Turkey is no crypto gains tax exists here. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm jealous of you, Chudjack. I'm so jealous. Can't wait till the United States cuts capital gains tax on crypto. Jay says, what do you think about Aster? Aster, as long as it remains below 120 on the daily, I'm bearish on it. Aster just, man, they had so much hype with that thing and they ruined it. I mean, honestly, I guess the market ruined it. Like, they were buying back $160 million worth of Aster at 175. Now they may take that on the chin, but let's see what happens. Rami says, do you think we'll see alt season this cycle? Same answer I gave. I think there's such a dilution of capital. Maybe the top 100 coins will pump. We're not going to see a full-on alt season like we're used to. Ahmad says, don't you think Bitcoin will fall below 97K monthly imbalance? We could. So I have a long between 95 to 99K on Bitcoin. So I'm being very patient with that long. That's a very good level. That is also coincident with the 50 weekly EMA on Bitcoin, and we've bounced off of that twice in the past, and we have huge bounces, and so keep an eye on that one. Peak says still 8 to 10 trillion total market cap at top prediction. I think that's still viable. I think it's still possible, but like I said, I'm playing this level by level. I am unbiased, so just something to keep in mind, guys. But Abhishek says, hey, John, make a video on how to make trade in a bear market because I am beginner. Yeah, I'll work on that as well, Abhishek. I'll work on that as well, guys. So, with that said, again, please like the stream if you liked it, guys. 47 likes, 96 viewers. If we get more likes, that'd be awesome. Also, if you guys want to join the free Gym Hunters group in the description, paid is in the description as well. 1 Ethereum for a yearly subscription. If you want to join mine here, I also have it pinned in the description. Or actually, I should say pinned on my X account at the CryptoData if you're not following me. But Kaiser was saying, when you wake up in the morning, what charts do you check first? Your watch list? Yeah, I check Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. And then, yeah, I'll look at the liquidations potentially. I'll look at ETF flows. And then I'll look at, Bitcoin dominance, USDT dominance, etc. See where we're at in the market and then make a valid opinion on there. And then I'll look at any big news items as well that's happened for the day via tariffs or etc. Right? So, with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love all of you. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Remember, be patient. Sometimes the best trade is no trade at all. Wait till we have more clarity. I do still remain tentatively bullish for the end of October. I do think we're going to have a nice pump then. I will start making more trades as we get closer to that date. So stay apprised with that, guys. Again, it's about quality, not quantity. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream on macro and on-chain analysis. Again, when you have those in confluence with one another, it makes your decision-making that much easier where you can be proactive and not reactive. So Money Move says it would be great if you could change your live stream schedule. Unfortunately, these live streams are scheduled, so you can actually watch them. We can watch the recording after this. So just go to the live tab in about 30 minutes, and you will see this live stream that is recorded, so you can watch that Money Moves. So hope that helps. But yeah, have a great evening, guys. Have a great morning wherever you're at. Thank you so much. Love you guys, and I will talk to you guys soon.